I know you've addressed this on the Locked on Browns podcast. If you return to Kevin Stefanski's basics, does that immediately kind of lift it up and spark an offense, do you think?
I do think so. Yeah, I like Kevin Stefanski was hired to the Browns in 2020 because he was considered one of these next in line sort of offensive minds in the game, like one of these rising stars from an offensive philosophical standpoint. And I think he showed that those first couple years, getting what he got out of Baker Mayfield in that offense, getting to the playoffs. I think the Joe Flacco run at the end of 2023, you saw some of what his system brings to the table. Even in some of the years, early on with Jacoby Brissett, I think you saw some potential from that offense, and it was the defense that kind of let them down that season more so than anything. And then obviously Deshaun wasn't quite ready to take the reins when he eventually came in, and that never obviously transpired from there. But they also got away from what Kevin Stefanski was doing the last couple of years as well. So I think that if you go back to the basics here with Kevin Stefanski, and I do want to be clear because Joe Bitonio has even talked about this. Like, it's not just taking the playbook from 2023 off the shelf or 2022 off the shelf and being like, all right, hey, or 2021, 2020, 2022, or in that time frame, and being like, all right, hey, we're going back to all this. Like, there will be some different nuances. There will be some things that they try to maybe implement that are different. But if you get back to those basics where you have a strong run game, and your offensive line, to the first topic we had here, talking about them staying healthy. Like, if they stay healthy and your run game is strong, and then off of that, you can get the play action game going, and you can set any of these quarterbacks up to be successful because you know that the run game is a threat. I think absolutely this offense can bounce back in a big way from what it was last year. And that shouldn't really be that hard in the grand scheme of things because last year the offense was historically bad. And that's kind of been the premise behind why I think the win total projection for the Browns this year is lower than it should be because competent offense, which I think is at least what you can expect from going back to Kevin Stefanski's system and its sort of basic for its original form, it like that I think is enough to get this team to at least 6 or 7 wins on the season. And it might come down to maybe not having enough players that can make the plays in certain moments, but like just competent offense, I think is enough to have them be better than they were a season ago.
I would agree. And competent offense, don't turn the ball over, and don't put I mean, as long as you don't put this defense in a hole, it should be pretty good.